So we've made it to our final panel, and in this particular panel, we're going to be talking about energy efficiency programs and providing practical tips on how to winterize your home and to certainly save energy. So our third and final panel consists of Ted Trebu. Trebu. Ted is the managing director for the DC Sustainable Energy Utility. We also have Donnie Anderson. He is a licensed HVAC contractor. Mark Morris, he's a licensed home contractor. And Benjamin Ash, he is a comfort specialist, and his company is called Frontline Mechanical Services Incorporated. And so, Mark, I understand that you have to leave a bit early, so we're going to start with you with our first question. As a home contractor, you typically build and renovate homes. As you know, the importance of utilizing efficient materials. However, most DC residents live certainly in older homes and are on a fixed income. With limited money to go towards major renovations, what can someone do with, say, $100 or less to winterize their home and reduce their energy usage?
Okay, well, actually, what you can do is make sure all the holes on the houses are sealed, or as the wiring come into the house, the plumbing, uh, whatever cracks you have, even the pointing of the bricks. Once you get that sealed in, that would keep the air in summertime, heat in wintertime. Also, what you can do is you can buy like insulation for as around your doors, your window, because of your older homes, a lot of them be out of square. So you put the insulation around your windows, that'll seal it. Also around your doors, caulk, use caulking around your doors, windows, around any holes, cracks, or whatnot. So it's
What is the less expensive way to eliminate leaks? What's your opinion on that?
the less expensive way to eliminate leaks is, far as your draft, you can put like the plastic over the windows. They call the shrink wrap plastic. I have some examples here. Um, you can do that. Like I said, you can even on your fireplace, if you got gas fireplace, or if you have a wood fireplace, you can put plexiglass or insulation over that during the wintertime so you can conserve your energy as well.
All right, Ted. So most people know that heating your home is your largest utility expense many times. It's important that we make sure that our heating dollars are not wasted. Can you provide an overview of your agency and the types of energy assistance programs, Ted, that you provide to DC residents?
Sure. Renee, thank you very much for having us here today. The DC Sustainable Energy Utility was established back in 2011 to help residents and businesses save on both their electricity and their gas bills. And so with the funds that we have available to us, we have rebates and other offerings for residents to both save on electric and gas. And so for heating in particular, we have rebates that are available on high efficient furnaces, rebates of up to $750 that are available for residents when they buy and install a high efficient furnace. You can go on our website or you can call us up, but you can go on our website on www.dcseu.com. That's dcseu.com, or call us up and we can have someone walk you through it.
What's your phone number?
202 479 2222. Again, it's 202 479 2222. We have a live person who can answer the phone and walk you through some of the options that we have, and they can tell you what are the qualifying furnaces that are available, as well as who are some of the qualified contractors that we use to install those furnaces. And so these contractors know about our rebates, will apply them at the time that the furnace is purchased, and install them in your home. And when you buy some of the high efficient equipment that's out now, it's significantly more efficient than some of the older furnaces and can save you a lot of money. The other tip that we give residents is lighting is one of the primary uses of electricity in the home. Up to 20% of your electric bill can be due to lighting. LED light bulbs are in the marketplace now, and we've worked with manufacturers like Sylvania and GE and Cree to bring down the price of these lighting products. When LED lights hit the market a few years ago, they were about $10 to $12 a bulb. We work with Safeway now, Annie's Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Lowe's. All of these stores have our lighting products at about as low as 95 cents per bulb. And so if you install 5 or 6 bulbs in your home, in the areas where you're using your lighting the most, you can save on average between $65 and $100 a year with this investment of about $6. So we recommend, particularly the daylight savings time, we're going to fall back in a few weeks, using a lot more lighting in the home. We would recommend that residents go out, buy about 5 or 6 LED light bulbs and install them in the areas where they're using their lighting the most. You'll see an immediate savings on your energy bills.
Talk to us about the thermostats and in the program that you have offering city residents, and also what temperature should you set your thermostat to save the most energy. I know both of my kids are out of the house now, but when they were home, they didn't care about it because they knew that I was footing the bill. So, in the summertime, they wanted it on 65, crazy number. And then in the wintertime, of course, they want to feel as they say, toasty as possible. So they want the heat on 72, 75. So I don't know if that's a great idea if you're thinking about saving money.
I'll date myself a little bit. I remember when I was in my teens, President Carter made some recommendations around, the setting of the thermostat in the home. And I've been married for 20 years now. It's one of the battles that my wife and I still have on a regular basis, about comfort in the home. The programmable thermostat, and again, we have a rebate for that, so that the thermostats would have cost about $180, $170. We give a $100 rebate on the thermostat, and bringing that cost down to about $79. Again, significant savings can result in the home. The way we look at it is this: if you're an empty nester now, your teenagers are no longer there who like to be warm and toasty. When you leave the house, you can turn the thermostats to a degree that is not taxing either your air conditioning or your heating system while you're outside of the house. An hour or so before you come back, you use your smartphone, you tell it, hey, I'm coming home. It'll bring the temperature in the house to a degree that where you would like it. And so this allows you to not constantly run your air conditioning or heating systems in the home when you're not there. Mm-hmm. People have pets in the home sometimes, and so you want to make sure that you're not just allowing the home to get out of control in terms of the temperature. But normally if you're gone for about 8 hours, the temperature in the house will not, on a cool day, it will not dip that far down. On a warm day, it can rise pretty significantly if you're not running any air conditioning at all in the house.
Yeah, I can't do that because my dog likes to lay right on top of the air conditioning. He expects me to keep that thing on even when I'm not home, right?
We do understand, with pets in the home.
He's paying some bills up in there.
Yes.
All right, so Donnie, we're going to go over to you now. Can you talk to us about why it's important to get your HVAC system serviced every year?
For that apparent reason, to keep the cost efficiency, the cost level down, such as getting your condenser clean, getting your if you have a gas furnace, changing the filters, getting your burners cleaned, your blower motor, just testing your gas efficiency, just making sure that you have the proper insulation on the going in and out of the house, as far as on your suction discharge line, things of that nature, making sure that insulation, your ductwork has no air leaks. So it's always good to...
All of that sounds so expensive. It's like every time I call an HVAC person, I'm terrified that you guys are going to come in, and because I have no idea what it takes to keep that thing running, but we know we want it running. We know we don't want it leaking. How much does that cost to do what you just said in a typical home?
A typical service like that, it will roughly cost the customer around $69 just to inspect. And
so you're going to come and inspect it?
Yes.
And you're going to clean my ducts too? No. Not gonna
No,
clean the ducts. That's something separate.
That's
Okay.
something additional.
Okay.
Yes, but just a typical inspection to let you know where you stand and where you're at, and if you have any minor fixes that we have to repair, uh, it's minimal. It's not. You can probably get everything done. What do you think?
I'm Mr. Ashwood, Frontline Mechanical, and I'm one of the comfort specialists. And what I would recommend is you do a semi-annual maintenance contract. And with that semi-annual maintenance contract, a professional will come out in the spring and the fall and basically go over the system. That is generally about $69 per checkup. And during that checkup, certain things are part of the checkup in terms of in the summertime, for instance, checking your operating pressures of the system, checking for air leaks within the ductwork itself, making sure your lines are insulated. One of the other important factors is a lot of homeowners do change their filters on a regular basis. One of the things that they don't do is your blower wheel on that air handling unit, the blades themselves build a lot of dust up on them. And that can actually add an additional 20% to your energy consumption. That motor itself, I mean, I've had customers where we had to come out where that actual, say for instance, the thermostat would go bad and that blower wheel would just constantly keep running. And they would literally in a month's time increase their electric bill by like $150. So just little things like that in terms of just doing or putting a maintenance contract in place. To have
Put your microphone up.
Just doing things in terms of just putting a maintenance contract in place and having a professional come out twice a year, which will probably run you about $141 for the overall contract.
Turn it like this for me. Yep.
Okay, is that better?
That's
Okay.
that's
So,
perfect.
Again, it will run you about $142, $141 for the annual contract. And what happens is generally what we would do is do something called straightforward pricing. When we come out, we inspect it, we kind of do a performance check, and we let you know if there's any deficiencies that we see. And at that point, then a price would be discussed, and we can determine how much it would cost in order for you to proceed and address whatever issues we would find. But the main thing is just to constantly do the semi-annual maintenances on the equipment because things change, of course, from season to season or month to month with anything that's, consuming power, electrical or mechanical, et cetera.
Okay. And so you said the blower thing,
Yes.
and I'm one of those people that I'm like, okay, it's that thing, whatever it is in there. That is something that you clean as well as part of that
Yes,
semi-annual
that would be part of the maintenance,
process.
correct.
Okay. Perfect. All right. We're also going to go to the audience as well again. So if you have any questions, definitely get them ready for us. Mark, talk to us about what is an inexpensive way. I think you talked a little bit about that to eliminate leaks. So most people assume that drafts come from windows. What are other areas of your home that you need to be checking for drafts? I've noticed the amount of air that comes through that socket, the electrical socket. It's a lot of air that comes through there. I'm just amazed. So what should we be doing about that?
Good question. You can take it out. This work wonders, guys. This is inexpensive, $6. Like I say, you can take the cover out the socket, spray the spray foam around it. It will seal it, even around your doors and your baseboard. So this would be the perfect thing for it. Like I say, $6, and you'll be surprised on the cost.
So take that socket off.
The cover.
Take the cover off.
Yes, ma'am.
And spray inside of that?
No, you spray around it.
Okay, spray around.
Yes,
See, all
ma'am.
that's important.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want to electrocute myself. So
No,
spray,
yeah.
spray around it, and then I can put that right back on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody know that? What is that?
This is
It's a
spray.
foam thing.
Yes, ma'am.
On your socket.
Made by
okay.
Great Stuff.
And how
$6.
much is that about?
This is 16 ounce.
No, how much does it cost?
Oh,
we care about
$6.
money.
$6.
Yeah. And I can use that on all of the sockets
Yes,
in
ma'am.
my house.
Even
Okay.
on your hole as well. All your cracks and nice holes. You
Home
can go to
Depot?
Home Depot, Lowe's, True
Okay.
Value, Ace.
But it expands.
Yes, it expands. Yes.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Oh, otherwise, you can't put the socket back on. Then you got another problem, right? Then we're calling the electrician. Okay. All right. So, how effective is caulking your window or covering your windows with plastic? Do both reap the same benefits, or is one more effective than the other?
Well, actually, you want to do both. Because around the windows, of course, the air want to come inside, so you want to caulk the window. And if you got an older house, like usually what we have in DC, if you got an older house and you're not ready to buy windows just yet, what you do, you take the plastic wrap. Like I say, it's double-sided tape. You put the double-sided tape around it, put the plastic in there, get a heat gun, or latest with the blower dryers, you heat it up, and it will tighten up, and that will tremendously keep the air out. So you want to do both.
Now, what about that door? Because again, we know a lot of air comes underneath that front door, the garage door, the side doors. What are we doing about the doors?
I have it over there. On the door, they have this what they call a double door draft. It's door you typically 36 inches, so they sell it 36 inches, 3 feet, and it's like $8. And what you do, you slide it in between the door, and it covers both sides, the outside and the inside of the door. So that's what you usually use. But like I say, you always want to make sure your caulking is not cracked, dry rotted, just missing. You always want to caulk first, and you can put that if your door is out of square.
Some people don't like the plastic because they think it's a little unsightly.
Mm-hmm.
And for adults who may have their own still have their personal own summers in the wintertime, it's not just the greatest of ideas because you still might want to crack that window. What else can you do?
Well, the only thing I can say, if you don't like the plastic, go with a thick set of curtains.
Okay.
That's, especially if you're not ready to replace the window anyway, because everybody know, windows can tend to be
Very
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah.
How often should you be replacing your windows, though? I mean, is that something that you should do every 20 years, 10 years, 50?
It's all depend on what type of window you have, the quality of the windows, all depends. But usually they usually last a long time.
Okay.
Now windows anyway.
All right. Any questions from our audience? Questions, comments, thoughts? Anybody? Anything else you gentlemen want to add, especially with the HVAC system? I am that person that try to get it done, but one of the things, and this is particularly for my young adult children who just purchased their homes, is changing that filter. I purchased one of those filters from an HVAC company, I'm not going to say the name, that said I could just buy that one filter and then I'd wash it off. But I don't quite like that thing. Is that a good idea or is that a bad idea? Have you seen this? It's metal, and then you take it out and you run the hose on it and you wash it, and then you're not supposed to have to ever buy any more filters. And it cost me a lot. I'm going to just say it cost me a lot of money to buy that thing. It cost me almost $200. Did I get or got for doing that? Let's be honest.
I wouldn't buy it.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
And see, and something told me not to do it, but the guy, he just like, if you buy this, you'll never have to buy any other filters ever again. And then I have to let it dry out because you can't put it in there while it's wet. So then you have to turn your system off. After I thought about it, it just did not make sense. But $200 later, this is where I am.
I mean, I recommend using a filter at least 8 MERV, and that's a factor that's rating the quality of the filter.
8 what now?
MERV. It's a
MERV.
rating of filter. So if you go to somewhere like Home Depot, you'll see like the fiberglass filters that are like $2. And then as you look at the quality, the price goes up. A lot of people have a tendency to get the cheaper filter.
Okay.
Don't
do that.
Correct. Because it's not giving you the benefits of, it's not giving you the benefits of the filter, and it's not serving up its purpose in terms of air filtration, keeping down a lot of the airborne pollutants. If you have asthma or any allergies and things of that nature, that at least 8 MERV filter will keep a lot of that down so it doesn't get into the airstream.
And so some of the filters say change 30 days, some say 90 days. How often should you change it? And should you be buying the ones that say 90 days? Which are the more expensive ones? So if you go to, let's say, one of your big box stores like Costco, you can get them 3 in a pack, right? And those are the ones that you typically can get for 90 days. Is that a good idea or is that not a good
The
idea?
thing that's important about that is everybody's conditions in their homes are different.
Okay.
And you have some homes where you can, if you have ceiling fans for instance, you'll notice you get a lot of dust buildup on them and things of that nature. So it all really depends on the home, because some homes have a lot more dust than others. So you can say you can get that particular filter to say 90 days, but if you have an extremely dusty home, you know in 90 days that's not going to be effective. Or pets, for instance, and
Yeah, to have a
dander
little
and things of
dog,
that
yeah.
nature. And one other thing, not to get off the point that I wanted to mention, especially in the district with a lot of hot water heating, one of the things that's very important is a lot of the older radiators, they get painted over. You have little vents on the side of them. And generally what happens is if the system sits over the summer, as the water starts to heat up, there's actually air that's brought in with the water, and that air rises to the top of that surface of the radiator, or if it's hydronic heating, the baseboard heat, for instance. And those pockets of air, what happens is it creates a situation where the water won't flow through the radiator. And it's important to make sure that those vents are functioning. We have something called automatic vents that are installed, and they automatically release the air. Some of the other older systems don't have those vents, and you have to go and actually manually bleed them. A lot of them, again, if they're painted over, they may not work, they may work. And what happens is when this takes place, your boiler has to constantly fire up to try to heat that water. And you'll notice that you'll have areas in the home where it's just not getting warm. And the reason why that happens is because the water's not flowing through that radiator or baseboard heater, because it becomes airbound. And again, airbound is a situation that takes place whenever air gets into the coil or the radiator itself. While that pump's circulating, or if it's gravity fed, the water will not overcome the volume space of the air, and it'll just stay there. And so what'll happen is you'll get dead spots or cold spots in the radiator itself. So it's important to make sure that every heating season, when you go to fire your boiler up, be sure that all your vents are functioning. Make sure that you bleed those air vents, the manual ones or the automatic, make sure they're functioning. And you generally, when you bleed them, you'll get a couple drips of water out, then you'll get a stream of air, then you'll get water. You want to get a steady stream of water for about, I want to say, at least 15 to 30 seconds. Then you can close that off, and it pretty much will ensure that all the air has been removed from that. So when you turn your boiler on, you're getting a good circulation and flow through it. And that, again, prevents the boiler from having to constantly fire, trying to maintain, if you're maintaining 140 to 160 degree water with inside that loop, you want to make sure that that flow is constant and that the temperature stays even throughout the house.
Yeah, this is some powerful information here. If you can just tell me where I can go and sell that filter, I'll be real happy. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks for coming out. My name is Lucia Nyankale, and I'm representing the Patch DC, where we're instilling self-sustainability skills for residents of Ward 7 and Ward 8. And I hope this question has not already been addressed, but if it has, please meet me after so we can discuss more. But in a community where we rent, most of the residents are renters, are you guys seeing and dealing with slumlords that mainly have to maintain their homes themselves, are you seeing any unsafe practices in winterization that you want people to avoid doing in helping keep their home warm during the winter?
Anybody can tackle that?
Well, one dangerous thing is not to do is heat your home with the stove. So if you're having problems with your heating system, you should talk to the landlord or whoever to get that taken care of right away, because that's very dangerous for a fire hazard, and also if it's gas, carbon monoxide, and things of that nature. So the stove is not a way to heat the home.
Thank you. Anyone else want to add to that?
Yeah, and I'll add one other thing to that as well. Generally, if you have a landlord or whatever your living arrangement is, there should just be certain things that are done each season in terms of, back to me mentioning the annual inspection. So if you have a central plant, for instance, some buildings will have a central location where there's a boiler that supplies heating to the entire complex. I don't really know of a way in terms of you as the resident that you would determine whether or not that landlord is having a company come out and effectively, do the service to the equipment to make sure that if you have a central boiler, say for instance, your low water cutout is working, which prevents, for instance, if the boiler was to be operating and for whatever reason there wasn't water flowing to it, the low water cutout is a safety that shuts the boiler off to prevents it from actually blowing up or catching fire, because you have a situation where you have a burner that's burning, and if you don't have water in it, of course, then you start heating up the actual boiler itself. So a lot of those things, there's really no way of you knowing, because you are in your, in your resident, and you have a central location that's somewhere in the boiler room or mechanical room in the basement of the building. So it almost should be something that maybe if there's board members that you follow up to make sure that certain things are being done and they keep record of it, because other than that, there's really no way that you'll know. You're welcome.
Let me just add one other offer here. If you are in a multifamily building and you are finding that the boiler is not working, we do have engineers at our office. We have account managers. We have programs for multifamily buildings. So if you were to give us a call, we could have someone come and look at the condition of the boiler within your building. Again, the number is 202-479-2222. Give us a call. We can have someone come over and take a look at it to make sure it's operating properly. And we can talk to the owner of the building about whether or not the system needs to be replaced.
Okay. We have any other questions from the audience? Sure. Well, I mean, I think today has been really informative. Don't you agree? Yeah, let's give our various panels a round of applause. I know I certainly learned a lot myself. So we're now at the end of our panel discussions. Thank each of you, to our panelists, for sharing their expertise. As you know, this year's theme is Educate, Plan, and Support. And as community leaders, you are on the front line, literally daily serving our residents, and we certainly thank each of you for what you do. We'd like to thank you for your dedication and your continued service. We also want to take this opportunity to recognize one of the members among us who has had a positive impact on the community. We'd like to show this video right now. I'm going to show a video to highlight the work of the 2017 DCPSC Community Leader Award recipient. After the video, Commissioner Willie Phillips will come forward to make a very special presentation. So we turn our attention now to our video. We're going to get started in just a moment. Just as a reminder, in your package, you have all of the information about the participants that have been here today.
You getting it? Oh, well. Oh, do your best.
It seems we're having some technical difficulties. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. So, we know it's been a long day, and we appreciate everybody coming out. We want to, at this time, on behalf of the commission, I would like to present our 2017 Community Leader Award to Mr. Anthony Wood, founder of Neighborhood Organized Workforce Incorporated, please come forward and accept your award.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Give us a few words, if you will. Just a couple.
Wow, that video was something else, wasn't it? I agree. No, I really appreciate this award. I don't get out as much as I would like to, but the video should have showed you where neighborhood organized workforce and some of the things that we do in our community. We train in heating and air conditioning and GED preparation. And one of the things that the DC residents benefit from this program is that we are able to come out as trainees and help you all to navigate through making your unit ready for the winter, as well as the summer at minimum cost, because we both benefit from it. You allow our trainees to practice and get more efficient at servicing your unit, and you get a reduction in costs, a huge one at that. Sometimes, especially when we deal with seniors, we charge little or nothing. We come out and service and check your unit. Take a look at that indoor blower motor that gather dust and the burners that build up a carbon and things of that nature. Just make your unit safe and efficient. But again, thank you so much for this award. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations. Okay, so quickly, in closing, I would like to thank everyone for coming out again. We especially want to thank all of our community leaders that came out today. Please give them a round of applause. Upon request, our commission staff is always available to attend your community events. And in your folder, if you look inside your bag and look inside your folder, there are two forms, okay? There's an outreach activity request form and an evaluation form. Please let us know how we can better serve you. And in fact, if you fill out that form today, you can drop those off at the front desk as you exit. Finally, on behalf of my colleagues, Chairman Kane, Commissioner Beverly, I want to thank a few people. Most importantly, thank Ms. Renee Nash from 96.3 FM WHUR. Please give her a great round of applause. We'd especially like to thank all of our panelists. We'd like to thank Pat Collins from NBC4, commission staff for planning this event, and a special thanks to our co-chairs, Kelly Didigue and Wendy Newkirk. And we have a little something special for you. Kelly, if you could come forward and accept these. Give them a hand. Thank you. So that concludes our event. We thank you guys for coming out. We look forward to seeing you soon, and especially next year.